Right now, 11 minutes of non-stop local news, weather, and SWX sports headlines. This is NBC Right Now local news, 11 at 11. Right now, breaking news.
We begin tonight with breaking news. A commercial structure fire on the 3400 block of West 7th Avenue in Kennewick. It broke out less than an hour ago. Morgan Ashley is there and joins us live right now with updates. Morgan?
That's right, Mackenzie. We are live out here on the scene. We just got here about 20 minutes ago. Right now you can see behind me, it appears from this angle the fire is extinguished. Again, we're on the 3400 block of West 7th Avenue. You can see that ladder right there. There's fire trucks down the road. There's also fire trucks behind me. I'm counting at least 7. We know Kennewick Fire, Benton County Fire, and the Franklin County firefighters are all on scene. Apparently what happened is someone actually living a few doors down noticed the fire and called 911. It doesn't appear that anybody was inside that building, although everyone has evacuated out. As you can imagine, a lot of commotion in this neighborhood tonight. Actually, there's a woman over here by the name of Melissa that actually, she's here in her robe, obviously enjoying her Saturday night. Melissa, you live 2 doors down. Tell me what you saw.
So I was actually in the house and we were listening to music and we overheard someone saying, "Help, help, help." So we came out and this young man here, his mom was actually the one that called 911. She called 911 and her husband went around getting everybody out. But when we went to the back of the building, you could see flames coming out from the patio.
Oh my gosh. And you know, we heard reports of people coming out and trying to extinguish what they could. Did you see any of that?
I seen a gentleman with a hose and he was up there until the fire department came and he got it contained for the most part, so that was pretty brave of him.
Wow. And in your neighborhood, obviously you guys are enjoying your night. You're coming out here to all this commotion. What's going through your head right now?
I'm just wondering and hoping that everybody's out, you know, and making sure that everybody's safe and nothing explodes, or, you know, and kind of worrying about, you know, where are these people going to go for the rest of the night, or, you know, if they're going to be displaced or not.
And have you heard anything on a cause, or you guys are probably just trying to get details as they come out like we are? So do you? Yeah, you don't even, and we oftentimes don't even know the cause until later on. And the firefighters have told us, you know, they knocked it down from the outside, but we could still see smoke out here right now.
Definitely. I remember a gentleman saying that he had smelled fuel, so I don't know if that may be something related. It's just kind of right now hearsay. Yeah.
Well, we are glad you're okay. Thanks for talking with us. Glad you guys are all okay. Stay warm, okay? And of course, we'll get updates as we receive them throughout the night. But as far as we know right now, nobody has been injured. This home is evacuated. There's still some smoke on the scene, but firefighters are trying to get inside of that building to kind of evaluate what's going on. But they did have to attack this fire from the outside of the building. Again, we're on the 3400 block of West 7th Avenue in Kennewick. Of course, we will bring you the updates on this situation as we get them. Back to you, Mackenzie.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Glad everyone is safe. And like Morgan mentioned, we are going to continue to bring you updates as we get those, and we'll be sure to go back to her towards the end of the show. All right. Well, now we're going to switch gears as we head over to our weather center with Ryan Overton, who has a first look at your forecast.
Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Kind of a dry day out there, something we really haven't talked about over the last several days, and even a little bit of sunshine allowed temperatures to warm up into the low 60s and upper 50s across the region. Not a bad afternoon for your Saturday. Hopefully you went out to the pumpkin patch, just enjoyed some of those outdoor activities on this Saturday. Winds have also been very light, 5 to 15 miles an hour. Strongest up into the Blue Mountains, Walla Walla about 10 miles an hour, but once you get along the Columbia River up into the Columbia Basin, light and variable, and that's how they'll stay over the next 24 hours. As you look at the sky tracker, just not much. A few more clouds starting to increase. No, that's not rain on the radar, just a little bit of interference. Some clouds now starting to push in to the region as we head over the next 24 hours from the system that is out west. Notice this area of low pressure kind of churning up the Pacific coastline there, out there towards western Washington, western Oregon. Well, good news is the moisture from this going to stay out west. The biggest thing we'll be dealing with over the next 24 hours is the cloud cover. So that's going to continue to kind of be our biggest factor, but more rain is on the way for the region. We'll kind of detail that out as we head through your 7-day forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Yakima police officers responded to a domestic dispute earlier today after a man pulled a gun during an argument. He then tried to leave the scene in his car, but was pulled over by police and taken into custody. It happened on the 200 block of South Fair Avenue around 1 this afternoon. Police say they towed the man's car and are now waiting for search warrants for his car and his home. They tell us this afternoon it is a continuing investigation. Well, a little after 12 o'clock this afternoon, drivers on I-182 eastbound may have experienced some traffic, and that's because of a rollover accident happened just before exit 5A towards Kennewick. Right now, right now, Washington State Patrol is still investigating what led the car off the road, but tell us there were 2 girls inside that car. Now, the driver, 24-year-old Andrea Kirk, was trapped inside the car. Fire and rescue crews worked to get her out and take her to Cadleck for her injuries. The 17-year-old passenger was also taken to Cadleck for injuries. WSP tells us neither of the girls had their seatbelts on during the accident. Officers responded to First Avenue and Fruitland Street in Kennewick for a car accident this afternoon. They say the driver of the Ford Explorer was headed west when it drifted to the right and hit 4 parked cars. The driver of the Explorer is being cited for improper lane travel. Westbound traffic was cut down to 1 lane for some time after the accident. Kennewick police responded to a report of a violation of a court order near the 400 block of East 8th Avenue. They say the suspect, Martin Figueroa, ran away from the area before officers even got to the scene. But officers did chase him through multiple yards, and after about 30 minutes, they arrested Figueroa at the parking lot of the Circle K at 10th and Washington. He has been booked for violation of a court order, resisting arrest, criminal trespass, driving with a suspended license, and an outstanding arrest warrant. In Northwest News tonight, King County officials are investigating after deputies shot and killed a woman at her home near Seattle. According to King County officials, 2 deputies responded to the woman's home on Muckleshoot tribal property to check on her after learning she could be suicidal. Officers say deputies knocked repeatedly and could see small children inside. After no one answered, they entered the home and found the woman with a handgun.
They entered the house to check her welfare, and I'm told that she had a handgun on her. Again, both officers fired. She was pronounced dead here, but I don't know what exactly led up to the specific point of shooting.
Both deputies have been placed on paid administrative leave during the investigation per department policy. In more local news tonight, it's no secret for most of the nation following this year's election. It's drawn up a lot of emotion, but for one man from Burbank, emotion was just the half of it. Christina Shalhoub sat down and talked with him this afternoon after he just returned from the hospital.
All night long, I'm thinking about it.
This past week's debate weighed heavy on Don Oman's heart.
And in the morning, my heart is really beating bad.
Bad enough to surpass 150 beats per minute, landing him in the hospital.
He said, you're going to have to stay here one more night at least, he says, because all our records show you had a heart attack.
Normally, Don looks forward to this political time of year.
I was Democrat for a while, and then I was Republican for a while, but it is a very exciting thing to be in the talking politics with your friends and neighbors and relatives and everything.
But this race is different.
And each time I watch them, it seems like they take a little chunk out of you and say, you know, where'd that come from, you know?
However, despite the toll that this year's election has literally had on Don's heart, it's what he's been using to make his voting decisions for years. And he's advising other voters to do the same.
Be careful and vote your heart, folks. Vote your heart.
Now, it's with a very heavy heart that I do have to share. We just got a message on Facebook from his daughter, and Don passed away at 8 o'clock this evening. So in his memory, I encourage everyone to go out and vote. Switching gears, Today in Columbia Park, Tri-Cities residents gathered for a good cause, the walk to defeat ALS. For Mert Roski, however, this was more than just another fundraiser. Her daughter, Christine, died of ALS at the age of 51 after being diagnosed at just 38 years old. Today, Mert told us that Christine used to take part in the walk with her, and she and her friends will be forever loyal to the event.
Ever since it started. She was with us before. She was here in her chair with us, yes.
I love it, and I'd do anything for Christine.
Care for Christine.
I took care of Christine,
She
too.
helped care for her when she was
a good friend.
This was the final walk in a series put on by the ALS Association all over the Northwest. Around 300 people attended the walk today, and of course, all donations go towards finding a cure to the disease that affects thousands of people every year.
In the leadoff spot tonight, Washington State hadn't won a game in Tempe since 2001. Well, that streak is now over. The Cougars went to Tempe on a business trip, and they made it a successful one. The Cougars have now won 5 straight after tonight's 37-32 decision. And over in Seattle, the Huskies and Beavers. This one was all UW early and often. The Dogs jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first. They led 31-zip at the half before finally easing up on the Beavers in the second. They won this one 41-10. And Eastern Washington ranked 3rd in the nation. Last year they won 55-50 over Montana State, setting up the rematch for a lot of points, which there was, just a little more on the Eags side this time around. Shaq Hill and Cooper Kupp were magnificent, combining for 300 yards receiving as Eastern won 41-17. Coming up, we'll have full highlights, but for now, back to Mackenzie.
Thanks, Mark. Well, time now for a quick break. But before we let you go, we do want to say a special congratulations to our weekday evening team. Take a look. They participated in the Carve Out for Hunger tonight. Tracy Dial, Glenn Cassie, and Tim Adams came in first. Can't wait to see that hardware, guys. Bring it on back. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll see you then.
Thank you for watching NBC Right Now Local News.
Surge of rain as we head throughout the day on Wednesday, and again Thursday going to be wet as well. Rain continues all week long, all the way up until about Friday. Temperatures upper 50s to low 60s. A little bit warmer into the Tri-Cities with mid 60s Monday, Tuesday, but rain at times.
All right, and we told you of breaking news at the top of the show about a commercial structure fire broke out a little while ago, and we now have updates. Morgan Ashley is going to join us right now. Morgan, what's going on now?
Mackenzie, you know, we've been live here on scene. We're at the 3400 block of West 7th Avenue. I'm actually joined right now by Blanca, who's been so incredibly brave. You know, we're sitting here, Blanca, I'm talking with your neighbors, and then you tell me, that's my house. That's my house. And you're very emotional. What happened? Tell me from the beginning.
My fiance and I were on a date night. My kids were out of town on a band competition, so we decided to just go out and have some fun, and we came home and we saw people running towards us and knocking on our door. And we just said, we're not home. We're right here. We just got here, and all they could say was, your house is on fire. And my first instinct was, I knew my kids were home, so I went to look for my dog, and she wouldn't come out. And by then, the firemen were telling me, get out, you have to evacuate. And we didn't find her until they actually put the fire out. That, you know, we went back in, and she was so frightened, huddled under the bed, and I was just, I mean, she's just another one of my kids.
I completely understand. I watched as your husband walked out with your dog, and we're kind of moving over here because there's firefighters obviously still on scene, and they're trying to move us away. They're moving the truck right now. Sorry about that, guys. You know, your husband brought the dog out of your house. The moment your face completely lit up. What were you feeling?
She's like one of my kids. Like I said before, you know, everybody's gone, and it's just me and her during the day, and you know, she keeps me company, and I sing to her, we dance, you know, and it's just, she's another one of my kids, and I don't know what I would do if something happened to her. But as hard as it was knowing that my kids weren't here, they weren't here because they were on their way, and I knew they were going to just panic when they saw everything, and I just needed to have her with me.
Right. We're so glad you have her with her. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And you'll be with family tonight. So you're out of your home, but you're with family, and we're so grateful for that. So bless you and your family.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to keep updating the story as we learn more. We're going to toss it to break right now.
Tomorrow and lows in the 40s.
It's going to be a nice day to wrap up our weekend, that's for sure.
That is, and we will see you back here tomorrow evening. And as always, check our Facebook and other social media pages for updates.